Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab, but I'm in the book. I got a nice little fellowship lesson for my Maya philosophy, so I'm excited. You know how we do. Let's go. I'm ready. Radisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's handle our business. Right thinking, mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. Yeah, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not, a person who believes, a person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows, but knows not that they know, God damn it, is spiritually asleep. I can awaken and why? I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what you don't know. You know, you just don't remember. That's the next lesson. All right. But a person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my girl, Maya, be true. Speaking of which, Maya, she is the reason why I'm practicing or teaching right thinking philosophy. Understand that. That's how important she is. In Maya philosophy, they talk about it. Self-improvement is the goal for all right thinkers. Okay? But it's based on mastering Maya philosophy. Let's go. And it's based on like this. I just got finished giving you the 42 confessions of Maya. Okay? We went through that discipline, righteous actions. Now, all right thinkers should work to uphold what Maya philosophy, where in each and every precept of Maya philosophy, when day to day in their normal life, you have to practice, live, and become Maya. You can't pick and choose what you like out of the 42. Say, well, today I'm gonna do that, but no. If you're gay, you can't be a right thinker. That's just a fact. Well, it's in the rules. I didn't make it. I'm following the rules here. So according to my rule, you can't be gay. Meaning, if you're having your personal activities with the same sex, you can't be honest and be this. No, that won't work. Moving on. That's why I ain't got nothing against y'all. It ain't me. It's just, that ain't my thing. Moving on. Obviously, it ain't everybody's thing, but if it's yours, knock yourself out. Remember, all your actions in my philosophy teaches you be responsible. Why? For the consequences that come with that action. That's all. Moving on. I'm not here to preach or give nobody no. I'm telling you, hold yourself accountable. That's all. Do whatever you want. Like my man, Crowley, do what I will. Yeah. He forgot to tell you the fine print. The consequences that come with that. You do right, you get blessed. That's what God's way. Okay? All the other stuff, don't care. What? I just do what's right. How you know what's right? You don't know right from wrong? Just do what's right. That's not easy. I got another letter coming, but that's the title. If you're doing right, you know it ain't easy. Oh, it ain't easy. Trust me. That's why a lot of people don't do it. Moving on, next lesson. But when you are a right thinker, you're supposed to practice your philosophy that you live by daily. Make it a part of your life. Live it. And for a detailed study, we got a book called The 42 Precepts of Maya, where it breaks everything down in intricate, each one. I don't have time for that. But, and they had an audio lecture series also. But this is the basis for how you purify, how to attain success in our Egyptian mystery system. It's based on each one being responsible for his or her action, everything. And as an adjunct to the 42 precepts, there are other injunctions given in the wisdom text Again, they're teaching you wisdom that you can practice, and you obtain the wisdom for putting the work in and obtaining the knowledge after what? Practicing it when daily. Also, there are what? Mayan inscriptions carved in the walls of the tombs. Commission people who profess to practice the philosophy of Maya. What's this? What's this? Central to the concept for order and virtue are the acts of what? Righteousness. I'm only going to do right by you. Even when I was a drug dealer, I didn't mistreat nobody. Why? That wasn't. But my point is, it's a mindset. And when your mind is to do what's right, that's what righteousness is all about. I didn't know that then. I know that now. Again, it's a learned behavior. It ain't natural. Okay, a lot of people, it ain't normal. So the highest, right here, the highest form of what we call right thinking leads to right action is what? You ready? Selfless service. When I tell you I don't do this for your money, that's a selfless service. I'm not talking about, monetization for YouTube. Yeah, I appreciate that. That ain't no damn money. That ain't my purpose. Again, I appreciate it, but that's not my goal. My goal is to teach you. So that's why I'm here to do what I do. So that tells you right there, selfless service, that means you give. That means you give. To get to God, you got to give. You want something from God, you got to give. The other guy, he take whatever he can get, okay? And all he gonna do is take. Moving on, that's the concept. I know the difference. And watch this, service to humanity. I can take all my years of knowledge and study and learning and live, and I'm doing just fine by that. My people talking about time. You hell-bent on that right thinking. Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm consumed by it. Yeah, I'm telling you, I ain't got, it's not a secret. If you know me, you know what I do. So I ain't beat for none of that. And again, that's how it's done. If you're doing it any other way, it ain't gonna work. Okay? So those who believe in me, thank you, I appreciate it. But those who don't, thank you, I appreciate that too. Why? I don't need you. Moving on. But I'm serving humanity for those who want what I'm giving. That's my point, not to be disrespectful. And this is what we call WRIGHT, meaning selfless service. I ain't got to tell you, it's right there. That's what I practice. That's what I master. That's what I teach. Maya is selfless service is an important aspect. And go back to the chapter 33 of the Book of the Dead, y'all call it, coming forth by day. It explains here, you'd initiate states, I have qualifications to be allowed into the shrine to see and become one with the Asar. This is by choice. You're coming. We ain't going out. I don't solicit nothing. I give cards out. Check me out. That's as far as I'm going. Why? I'm tired of saying what I do. Man, just turn to check me out. I'm here every day. I ain't got time for the chipper jabber. That's why. So, again, I'm a businessman. Okay? But the supreme being, we consider Asar, if you know the philosophy, the Anuian philosophy based on Asar being all that good stuff. Okay, but we here now. Supreme Being was considered to be Asar. And when you go back to him, you go sit on the throne with him, and because you are the ghost person, you melt right into him, become one. That's the philosophy I can live with. And if it's wrong, I can live with that. How about that? I don't give a damn. When I sold drugs, I knew the consequences. So you can't scare me with jail. Man, I don't give a damn about that. You can't scare me with hell. Been there too. So again, fear is what false evidence appearing real. I don't have no fears. Why? I know myself. So I got no false appearances, no delusions about who I am and what's going on in my life. And get Cat William, I don't give a what you doing in your life. I'm busy taking care of what I'm doing in my life. I agree 100%, Cat. And the Supreme Being, but you being an initiate, you are saying he or she help those in need. If you are my friend or you somebody I'm associated with, if you are in need, I will be there to help you out. Not to be used, but I'll always help you out. Again, I got tested to that. But this is what practicing philosophy in Maya is about. Helping those in need in what? Various ways. This is one of the greatest and the most secure methods of what? Purifying one's heart. I'm ready to dance. I'm about to hit the road. Because when you do something good, you should feel good about doing it. If you're doing something that you know is bad, you should feel bad about doing it. And it's a big difference. Okay? I suppressed the bad feeling with what? With the results that I was getting, the pleasure that I was receiving at the moment, not realizing the consequences. Now I know my actions and have carry consequences, so I do the right thing. That's what drove me to do this. Moving on and becoming what? A virtuous person. Just a good person. You can trust me. I'm trustworthy. I'm honest. I'm forthright. I'm a good dude. He couldn't say that. Didn't even think about that. Okay, so understand that's ego. And because it makes one what? Humble. And my pastor, he's the humblest brother I know. And I know a lot of people, but ain't nobody humbling this brother, and he is sharp as a tack, and he ain't taking no credit for none of it. That's humble. Okay, he give it all to God. I ain't got a problem with that. Not one iota. Okay, and when you are humble to that point, you know you are connected. That's what he does. And it effaces what? The ego. You can't serve God and yourself at the same time. That's two different people. Understand that. Lower nature, that's the ego self, that's the devil. Why? He got opposition to God. The ego is acronym for edging God out. So when you hear ego, you should already know what? Oh, he godless. White man is driven by the ego. Moving on. Selfless service is what spirituality is all about. And it is a vast area of what we call spiritual practice. And it forms what we call the major part of a yoga path of right living, right thinking, leads to what? Right actions. Every human being needs to understand the profound implications of what? Selfless service for themselves. Again, and how to practice selfless service for themselves. What? Effectively. When? Daily. Why? In order to attain spiritual enlightenment. You can't talk about it. You can't read about it. You got to experience it. God ain't to be taught and understood. He needs to be experienced. And then you talk about him. The guy who got talked about himself, I'm God. You have no other God before me. Don't listen to him. That's all ego. God ain't got to tell you nothing. Moving on, he'll show you. That's the difference. You got speculative believers in God who talk a good talk. But then you got the operative, the service of God, who walk the walk. And then a whole bunch of us walking the walk. I hear a lot of y'all talking the talk. Moving on. And that's how you create social order and harmony amongst the people. We don't have that. We ain't even close to that. Moving on. That's why I get passionate about how I'm frustrated. Why? It's there. It's available. First, the first thing, it must be understood. A lot of people don't want to understand it. Just, yeah, whatever. But they want you to understand them when they speak. That drives me crazy. Okay? But that, when you first, you must understood that according to Maya philosophy, according to, that means you have to practice to find out for yourself. The Supreme Spirit, God or Goddess, what you call it, manifests as all creation. Again, God don't talk, he show. And is also present where? You ready? In all human beings. If you're living, you're God. If you're dead, you're not. The ego will kill you. Why? It's taking away from God. God gives you immortality. God gives you infinite. God is the one you want to be connected with when this physical body is over. That's where the spirit comes from, and it's on a loaner. You can't sell your soul, whatever y'all think, make the difference. But again, God knows what his people is. Why? They live and do and be, and he'll welcome back home. That's the concept. That ain't new. That's 10,000-year-old philosophy. Moving on. And it served them. This being so, not that I'm saying, no, this being so, each one of us must for themselves realize that the one is interacting and with what? And through Supreme Spirit, that's life in us, is in all actions and is responsible for all speech and, more importantly, the thought. Since human interaction have a most profound influence on what? The human mind, this thing that he gave us that grows and nurtures with what? Information you download to it. And if you use it correctly, it's the most sophisticated machine ever known to man. And we have it right here. Y'all want a computer to tell you everything. I don't give a damn about computer artificial intelligence. I study, I read, I comprehend, and I do what I need to do to get my information to prove it. Sorry about that. I get a little antsy, testy when it comes to that. When you're dealing with the mind. Why? That's the one thing you control. That's the one thing you control. Everything else is pretty much an autopilot. You need to control this damn thing. And excuse me, Yeah, calm down. They are most powerful means in what? That mind. Why? Of effecting a change in your personality. You have to think different. If you're thinking wrong, that's fine. But when you get corrected, now you got to think right and now change your personality to what? Live and do right. However, if mishandled, the same good information and knowledge, if mishandled, they can be the most effective method of leading what? A human being to psychological attachment and suffers as well. You believe and think you got something, you will find out in the end. And that's the sad part about that. You're going to go through all that after being told, don't care, don't keep going. Okay, don't worry. Life, if you change because you want to or you aspire to, because you want to, if life have to change you, that means you went way wrong. Okay? When God got to step in and, yo, my man, you do stuff. That's the problem. A person should understand what? That mayat comes to him or her, okay, in a form of human beings that's what in need. Y'all call it Good Samaritan. Okay, I'm getting caught, see me again, a little excited. What you call it don't mean a thing. It's what it is. What it is to serve a purpose, help the needy. I love walking the streets. Why? Help the less fortunate. Why? I'm in a better position. I can do that. If I get rich, I won't stay rich. Why? I'm going to give it away. Why? For somebody who needs it. Help them out. That's why. Well, who? Yeah, I'll call the shots. If I got the money, I ain't buying you. I'm just helping you out. Okay? Father Divine style. Bring your problems to me. I got a good thing going on here. I can help you out. I ain't got a problem with that. And that's the people who follow them, they prosper. Moving on. Again, when you doing the work, a person should really understand that mayat comes to them an opportunity to show your heart. That's what it's all about. When you do something for somebody else without wanting in return, that's how you purify the heart. So as to what? You give the aspirant, my right thinkers, they give you opportunity to what? Grow spiritually. How? Through selfless service, giving of yourself. And something will happen. Yeah, you'll be rewarded. Trust me. To be successful in the selfless service, you must be able to supplement, you ready for this one? Your ego. You got to bring God into the mix. If you're spiritual, you got to become conscious of God. Why? That's the ego pushing him out. And if you don't have him in, you're never going to be successful and become a spiritual enlightened. And through what? Developing patience dealing with what? Difficult personalities. I deal with ignorant people every day, all day, on the regular. I can't stop them from being ignorant. I can't control their ignorance. No, I just control how I handle the situation that I'm in, dealing with them. That's self-mastery. Again, I ain't trying to change nobody, okay? But watch this. Now, you got to have patience when you're dealing with the difficult personalities, the ignorant people, I call them, and without developing what? Resentment, anger, and not taking attacks personally. What Jesus tell you, what Christ said, Father, they know not what they're doing. Okay, so you're going to take the beat up. You're going to take the hit. I just called my pastor. This may be TMI. Just today, real life situation. As a pastor, I need some help right now. Okay, which was mad about, right? I've been slapped in the face. And your philosophy, you turn the other cheek. I turned the other cheek, pastor. And they slapped the other side too. What should I do? That's right. You gotta understand. This is a biblical transformation, translation that he gave me, a biblical breakdown. I understood it. I said, but okay, I get it. Again, life lesson. I had to stomach it and realize, okay, I get it now. Thank you. Cool. When my brothers say, call me if you need me, I call them when I need them. Simple as that. It ain't no. Moving on. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's too in mind. But yeah, I rely on other people for what? Advice in life. Simple. I don't know everything. Oh, I thought you did. Yeah, you thought wrong. Your thoughts are always wrong. What you thought ain't never right. Moving on. I got a lesson for that coming up. I had to put that down. The 3 unwise men. The one I thought, the one I believe, and the one I don't know. I'm ignorant. The 3 unwise men. I got a lesson for you. A lot of y'all running around here. But watch this. Where I'm at. Your ego, once you get past the ego, and once you understand other people's ego, and you're able to deal with and not taking the attacks that they say about you personal, and you develop now a keener understanding, a thick skin, and a more understanding of human nature, and human needs. People are who they are. But when you offer selfless service, you kill them with kindness. And this is my dude's concept. Man, oh man, that ain't easy. That's what I said. Doing good ain't easy. Ooh, you better put me in a position where I got to show and tell now. I got to, okay, I get it. Don't just get it, use it. Again, when people give you advice and you ask advice, don't just use it. Why? See if it works. If you're asking for it, practice it. That's, and my man ain't been wrong yet. What's this? A selfless service that'll allow you, the human being, to discover sentiments of caring and something greater than the little old me. Just think about yourself. It's bigger than you. He keep that in front of my face. But it's all about how you handle you. He tell me all the time, I'm not gonna let somebody else take me to hell with them. I'm not going to get in the mud with all these philosophies that's biblical that he exercised, obviously lived by. I got the same thing, but I just term it different. But we do the same thing. I love that. And so watch this. When you got something good and right, when you got who else got the same thing, y'all ain't got a problem. Not a bit, okay? But this leads to again, purity of one's heart. Because you're putting in the work. You will be don't worry about what Tom, Dick, and Harry see you doing or how they think and feel about what that. The all-seeing eye is one that sees you internally. Not that the one in the sky is here for reason, but don't get it confused. It's all symbolic, but it's also real. That's the part you got to understand. And watch this. This leads to purity of one's heart from what? From the gross fetters of the ego consciousness, where they have anger, hatred, greed, lust, jealousy, envy, etc. Those kind of people will not give anybody a fair break. Why? They're going to deal with you in those manners. That ain't fair. Moving on. And also, detachments that's based on, you ready for this? Because we family, blood relations, and other fly relationships, physical or otherwise. But in order to serve at the highest order, one must serve all equally. That's where the prejudice comes in. White privilege, black privilege, no, it should be, all should be treated equal. And when that changed, when the white man came into Egypt, Africa, and started colonizing. Moving on, I ain't got, that's a whole nother lesson. But yeah, they telling you we all about equal treatment. For one to serve the most is to treat everybody the same. Y'all say it, but y'all don't practice it. But without favorites, without prejudice. How do we end up in white America if y'all followed that philosophy? We wouldn't be here. Simple as that. But as a servant of humanity, there you go. I'm consider myself a servant of God, so I'm serving humanity. Why? We are God's people, so I'm serving the needy, okay? And that's my personal job. I don't give a damn about what somebody think or feel. I take it from that way. Why? This is the philosophy I live by. One's family becomes all human beings and nature itself. I just told my dude, I didn't give a crap about animals, pets. I hated them. Now that I got them, I'm looking at my son talk to his people, his animals. He got chickens, okay, little TMI, but yeah, got chicken coop. I'm freaking out. I'm standing there watching him. He talking to him, and he feeding him. I'm freaking out. I said, but no, my man, you can't have a problem with that. You got 2 cats in your house that you talk to like they're human beings. So, touche. Again, be careful of what you think about other people. Look at yourself first. That's why you start inside. You don't worry about what outside is going on. But therefore, you create an environmental well-being for oneself. And it is a big concern in the Netarian community. Meaning, if you my pastor, his church, he big on help serving the community. That's where you are. That's who you serve. I agree 100%. And we have an annual cookout coming up in a couple of weeks. But this is reflected in the following injunction in Mayat philosophy. It's about ancient concept. I'm going to go past that. That's what I call fluff. Let's talk about the people who true service of God, what they think and how they feel about what they're doing. Start with, everybody know Mother Teresa. Okay, this is the modern concept. When they asked her, how could she stand to serve such severely ill people and not feel disheartened, repulsed, or depressed, she replied, you ready? And this is, I'm sure my pastor said the same thing. I see only Jesus coming to me through people. I treat everybody like he's God's son. Hello? Hello? That's what I got from that. Now, you can read that. I'm just telling you from my understanding, that's what she's saying. Y'all may not understand it that way, but again, I'm saying that she's saying, I see Jesus coming through two people. I'm going to treat everybody the same. She would practice my act without even knowing it. I got a mother-in-law that does the same thing. But this reply shows what? That the sanctity and the attitude towards humanity. She loved her people. And she also displayed what? The highest level of spiritual practice. What? Through the path of what? Right thinking leads to right action, which is known as what? Selfless service. That's where I get it from. I'm doing the same Mother Teresa doing my way. Modern times, okay, I can't touch you physically, but I can have a platform I can get to you monetarily, like I'm doing media. So again, when Mother Teresa was asked how she was able to do all that work she had done, everybody thought it was so miraculous. Okay, she would always reply, I do nothing. Like my dude, my pastor, he give it all to God, does it all. I'm telling you what I'm doing for him. So in essence, I feel the same way. Okay, I might say it different, but I got the concept. And selflessness arises when what? You, the human being, sees what in him or herself as separate from creation. And now you develop what they call egoistic selfishness. Me, I. The I should be followed by am. If it's just I, it's the ego. That's the self-identification, which is human nature again. Get past that. Okay, I am. That's the gear. Why? Now you are connecting yourself with the great I am. Hello. Moving on. It's all symbolic, but when you understand it, you can practice it. Typify how? By the attitude of what? I got mine. You get yours. That's the American way. Okay, that's wrong. And we've been doing the American way for what, 500 years now? Wrong. So you can do wrong for a long time. That don't make it, it's still wrong. Well, it's, if you can't change wrong, if I don't change wrong, I'm not here. I'm probably in prison somewhere. What? Well, I should have done it. I would have done. See, again, when you separate yourself and you become egoistic, you're going to do things that you're going to have to pay price for, called consequences of your actions. Again, when you feel as though you got to get yours, that's society right here. But a mature and a righteous person must develop what they call spiritual sensitivity to the fact that all creation is inexorably linked at all levels, not just material, and it's also spiritual. God is spirit. Spirit in the body is spiritual. That's what we are. Spiritual beings having human experience. But the human part, which is our conscious, our mind, that belongs to us. And that's your call. You can enlighten it or you can keep it dull. Your choice. So therefore, a true right thinker feels what? Empathy. Compassion. For what? All humanity. And what they'll do, they'll work tirelessly into what? All human beings have the essential needs of life. That's my goal. And I see my man in Burkina Faso as a president. His goal to have nobody homeless, nobody on the streets, nobody, all the things that's good and right. Everybody got a problem with that. I'm freaking out. And those being what? Having food, shelter, and opportunity to grow and thrive. All those things is happening right now in a little town called Burkina Faso in Africa. And everybody around the world got a problem with it. All social problems of the world can be traced to what? You ready? Selfishness, ego, or hoarding of what? Precious, basic necessities of life. You got billionaires wanting more. You just, a bill in law that they get tax breaks. But the little man got to pay. That's the dumbest philosophy ever known to man. And that's got to be by what? A white man. And when you deny the basic necessities of certain segments of the population, you're going to have hierarchy, hierarchy, privileged, unprivileged. Come on, man. And that's the subsequent development that causes resentment. Remember the French Revolution? Let them eat cake. Oh, really? Oh, really? When the snobbish ones think they look down on other people, people get tired of that. And as a group, a race of people, they get tired. Why? They see greed, they see hatred, and that leads to what? Violence. And when lead to untold social strife. That's right now. They talked about this 10,000 years ago in society, in civilization. This ain't new. Moving on. I see the clock. Don't care. I'm getting this in. However, a person who lives by Mayat, right thinkers, does not pursue the betterment of the world in a sentimental manner. No. But with deep understanding of the fact that people's ignorance of their true divine essence is the root and cause that has led them to what? Their own current condition of what? Suffering. And therefore, simply sending money or aid will not resolve the issues. We the world leaders. Where we gonna get aid from? We doing everything ass backwards and wrong and wonder why we ain't what we used to be American do. Number one, y'all ain't nothing. We the laughing stock. Why? The leader we got is a clown, is a joke. So he represent us. People look at us the same way. Understand that. No respect. Rodney Dangerfield. That's why I don't need a passport. Why? I ain't traveling outside this white America. No. If I'm going to get beat up, I'm going to get beat up here. If I'm going to get disrespected, I take mine here. I ain't going somewhere to get that treatment. Sorry, moving on. Let me wrap this up. Now, when you're in a situation where food, clothing, or funds are needed, that's fine. They should be given. But there you go. But addition to these, one must undertake an effort at least to try and promote what? Mystical spiritual wisdom. No, y'all want to colonize them. I'm going to give you this, but you got to do this. That's the devil. That's the devil's deal. Any man who tells you, I do this if you do that, ixnay. Move on. With spiritual wisdom, not colonization, okay? Spiritual wisdom, which includes what? The complete practice of one's own religion, led by the myth, the ritual, and the mysticism. Everybody practices the same. For steps that take for religion might be different, saying it different, but it's all the same. Respect it, and we won't have a problem. But today's society, a Muslim don't get along with a Jew. A Christian can't get along with a Muslim. Moving on. That's all nonsense. I got a story for that, but I ain't got time right now. Getting this lesson out the way. And what happens when clothes or funds are needed? Okay, that should have been taken. Where we at? So where food and everything else, stop giving them something with a string attached to it. That's my point. And it should include a complete understanding of somebody else's religion or beliefs system. In humanity, now beyond the basic necessities of life, the world needs mystical wisdom most of all. That's just God. That's just technology comforts of life. Yeah, we got machines. Yeah, but watch this. Entertainment, and that's what it's for, and other conveniences should come after your spiritual enlightenment and understanding. That's where you can use these things in a proper manner. We done went way overboard with this media thing, this podcast thing, this platform. It's done got way out of control. But I'm part of the media, so I just do my role. I don't get caught up in what somebody doing that ain't doing. Excuse me. And watch this. Obtaining knowledge of self will take all that other stuff, put it to the side. Why? Because you know how to use it. You're like being driver's test. Once you pass the written test, we can trust you behind the wheel. But if you ain't got to understand the wherewithal, we can't let you behind the wheel, and that's the ego. It don't care about the rules, instruction. It's just going to do. A lot of times, it's going to do what it's going to do. And if you don't control it, it'll be you doing it. And why? Well, I don't know why I did that. See, right there. Not knowing. That's ignorance of self. And watch this. Where we at? Now, after this is how well-ordered society is structured along back in ancient times with the Matean and the Ubuntu principles, which says this: mystical spiritual foundation, which provides basic necessities of food and shelter for all, for its members, from which all else developed in technology, entertainment, etc. will what? Follow. Don't the Bible tell you, get the kingdom of God first and everything else will be given to you? We say the same thing philosophically, just different. Only in this way will what? Technological developments of entertainment and other aspects of society develop in what? A righteous and ethical and morally balanced, harmonious way. That ain't happening. That's not happening. Oh, are you 21? Are you 18 over? You just hit the button. Yes, they don't know. Moving on. So this can be contrast with the current predicament, I'm talking about today, of most modern day societies, wherein what? The emphasis is foremost on what? Development of technology and entertainment. Shaking your butt, shaking your butt. I'm tired of that one. Without giving much thought to what? Spirituality, which leads to what? Morals, ethics, and a balanced, harmonious truth, righteousness. Consequently, there are many people currently existing in communities all over the world who are deprived of the basic needs of life. We know about it. We call them the hood, okay? Homeless shelters, whatever. And the shelters where people who trying to help the ones that's homeless. So they run it by human beings who trying to do what's right for other people and who need what they got. Understand it, wrapping it up, taking it home, don't care. Studying the teachings of yoga, right thinking philosophy, mysticism, and their subsequent practice through selfless service will promote what? Enlightenment of what? Humanity, which will end what? The cycle of what we call egoism. I can't stand it. And disharmony. Why? We got a person in control right now who fills this bill right there. Egoism and disharmony. He's a liar. He's a cheat. And he's in control. And between people of what? Differing cultures. He don't have a clue. Why? He was born rich. He don't know about no struggle. Moving on. I'm going to get out that. Wrap this up again. Therefore, the act of helping others right there is what? Extremely important and should be pursued. Working in service of others, human beings, allowing you, the person who lives by Mayat, for to apply what? The teachings and gain the experience, and the results will be beneficial to you and those who you give it to. It allows you, the person who lives by Mayat, to develop the capacity to what? Adapt and even adjust, that means acquiesce to what? Changing conditions. The detachment of poise necessary. The detachment and to be poised and necessary to what? Live by what? Your truth. Rather than favoritism or racism. No, your own. All of this promotes integration of what? Your personality of a person as a person who lives by what I call Mayat. We know right thing philosophy. Therefore, the results of one's selfless service, watch this, doing the right thing, actions are immediate and always good, because no matter what the results of those actions are, the service itself is the goal of all persons who live by my right thing philosophy, aka Mayat philosophy. I got the lesson in. I took a little long, but I hope I got my point across and made it clear. This is what you can do for you. I'm here to teach you to do just that. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100, me 100 miles a day. So I never know that my right thinkers who starting to understand themselves have passed away.